Hi everyone, Susan Davis. This is a re-record for a video that I did yesterday that Facebook and YouTube just gave me fits with, and I did not get it posted and uploaded the proper way. Everything was just off. So here's my retake on yesterday's video. My video tonight is about, I'm sure you've probably heard the old adage, be careful what you wish for because it just might come true. So my comments tonight are kind of on the law of attraction and what it is that you think about and how that manifests in your life, whether it's positive or negative. I wanted to share a couple of examples of things that I had wished for that actually came true in my life, and then I would love for you guys to share examples of that happening in your life and your thoughts on whether or not that's just coincidence or that's actually the law of attraction in action. One of the first things I wanted to talk about was, I remember back in 1997, I had just started on my journey into self-improvement and motivation and self-help and the spiritual growth that I was getting ready to go through. God really had me in a special place. I had just gone through a divorce, and it was a very trying time for me. And I remember that I had seen a car that I wanted, a Chrysler Sebring, and at that time it was the most beautiful car I'd ever seen. And I said, you know, I'm going to have one of those cars. I mean, I said it over and over and over. Every time I saw one, there's my car, there's my car. And at the time, that was a huge stretch for me to think that I would actually be able to own a Chrysler Sebring. As I said, I'd gone through a divorce, and I was managing a fast food restaurant, so I didn't really have the income to support driving a vehicle like that. And it didn't actually happen until 1998, about a year and a half later, that I had changed professions and I was actually doing advertising sales. And I'd called on a car company that the owner had called to his son and threw him a set of keys and said, hey, go pull that car out from the back, I'm going to drive it home. And when the kid pulled around, there was my car. I mean, it was the most beautiful Chrysler Sebring, champagne fawn colored, sunroof, rims, had nice interior. It was beautiful. Needless to say, I drove off the lot that day in that Chrysler Sebring, and it really shouldn't have happened. The credit wasn't there. I had no down payment. I still owed money on the car I was driving, and really more than what it was worth. So the stars all aligned, and God delivered my car. The second thing that I wanted to share in terms of things that manifested in my life, and I'm going to throw out a shameless plug for a dear friend of mine that it falls into the whole story. Back around that same time, 1997-98, I had been reintroduced to network marketing. And one of the very first books that I was ever recommended to read is a book by John Milton Fogg called The Greatest Networker in the World. John has no idea I'm doing this. I'm not getting paid for it. I just wanted to give him a plug because it's interesting how this book manifested in the law of attraction for me. I read this book. I thought it was an interesting read, and really was taken by who John Milton Fogg was. At that time, I was new into the industry, and John Fogg was just the man. I mean, he still is in my book. He's the icon of network marketing. He is the greatest networker in the world, in my opinion. And I said, you know, someday I want to know this guy. I want to meet John Milton Fogg. And I fast forward a couple of months. I had the opportunity, I tripped across something on the internet, and lo and behold, there was John Fogg with his phone number. And so I picked up the phone and I called, and we actually had a great conversation. I'm sure he doesn't remember it, but I sure do. And I said, you know, someday I really would like to know him, not just talk to him on the phone, but know John Fogg. And fast forward, that was, like I said, in 1998, and here we are 2009, well, 2010 now. But in 2009, with the growth of the internet and Facebook and Twitter and all of those, John Fogg is now a friend of mine on Facebook. I have not met him yet in person, but John, that's going to happen. I don't care what we have to do. I am going to make it to either one of your weekends or someplace where I have the opportunity to meet you and shake your hand and say how much I actually appreciate everything you do for network marketers across the world. So thank you for all you do. But that was another thing that at some point I had hoped for, wished for, and then it kind of came true. I don't, like I said, I don't know him personally, but we talk and comment back and forth on Facebook, and so I'm getting to know him as a person, and it's such a pleasure and a treat. Um, so I just wanted to open up the conversation and ask you, how have things like that manifested in your life? I'd love to hear some examples of, um, the law of attraction working in your life, as well as what your thoughts and beliefs are. Is that just a coincidence, or is that a greater power at work? So I'd be interested to get your feedback on that and love to hear your stories. And my wish for you and I both is that we can manifest those things in our life that are our deepest, darkest desires, or probably not our darkest desires, that might not be a good thing, but just that our biggest dreams can be manifest in our life. One of the ways that you can actually do that is by creating a goal board, or a dream board, if you will, and putting up pictures of the things that you would love to have, whether it's a new car, or a house, or trips around the world, or whatever that is. Create that dream board and put it where you see it every day, in your bedroom on the wall, or where you sit and work at your computer. That is a very, very powerful way to help keep those positive thoughts in your mind, because I do believe we are what we eat and we have what we think. And if we're constantly thinking positive thoughts and things that we want, the universe has a way of bringing those to us. And when I say universe, I say that as God. That might not apply to you, and that's okay. But God created the universe too, so whatever you want to call it is fine with me. But it also works in the negative. If we think constantly about what we don't want, well, guess what? It has a way of showing up as well. So, like I said, my wish for you tonight is that your biggest, happiest dreams come to your life, and that you stay focused on all of the positives. And I'd love to hear your stories. So, you guys have a great evening. God bless on your journey.